Yeah. So in the last video, we discussed about different connectives and how they work. So different connectives are and or not, implies, by implies, exclusive or, NAND and NOR. Okay. Now let us see some examples regarding all these connectives. Okay. Now let us take the first one. Let us take OR, the connective OR. Let us see one example for it. We know that, please recollect by seeing the last video. So or is false only when both are false, both the prepositions are false. In the remaining all the cases it is true. Okay. Now let us take an example preposition or propositional statement. 2 plus 2 equal to 5 or sun rises in the east. Now how to find out the truth value of this statement? In fact, this statement actually containing a connective called or. Okay, there are two prepositions. 2 plus 2 equal to 5 is one preposition, and sun rises in the east is the second preposition. And these two prepositions are connected with a connective called or. Now, how I decide? So we know that as per truth table of or, so or is false only when both the prepositions are false, and remaining all the cases it is true. Now let us see what is the truth value of the first preposition. Now 2 plus 2 equal to 5. Is it true or false? We know that it is false. And second one is sun rises in the east is true. So therefore, please recollect the truth table. It is false or true. So false or true is true. So therefore, 2 plus 2 equal to 5 or sunrise in the east together is true, because the connective that is involved is or, and there are two prepositions out of two. One is false, other one is true. So therefore it is overall true. So suppose if both are false, for example, let us take another example. 2 plus 2 equal to 5 or sun rises in the west. Let us say this is my statement. Then 2 plus 2 equal to 5 is false. Sun rises in the west is also false. In that case, this complete statement is false. Okay. So this is how we take the uh, overall truth value of the statement whenever the connectives are involved. Now similarly, let us take another example where the connective and is involved. Okay, so simple examples I am taking here. So 2 plus 2 equal to 10 and sun rises in the east. Now what about this? Is it overall, is it true or false? How I decide? So please recollect the truth table of and connective. So we know that the connective and is true only when both the prepositions are true. The remaining all the cases it is false. That means if at least one is false, obviously it is false, right? So therefore now see one by one. So in this, what are the two prepositions? 2 plus 2 equal to 10 is one preposition, and sunrise in the east is the second preposition, right? So 2 plus 2 equal to 10. Of course, we know that this is false, and sun rises in the east is true. So therefore, altogether it is false and true is false. So therefore, so altogether the statement is false. Now for the implication, of course, there are several names for the implication. Okay, one is of course we read as P implies Q, and we can also read this as if P then Q, and P is sufficient condition for Q, and next one is Q is necessary condition. Q is necessary condition for P, and Q is P. So these are different ways to read the implication. All these five are equivalent. So please make a note. I can call P implies Q. I can also call as if P then Q. I can also call as P is sufficient condition for Q. I can also call as Q is necessary condition for P. And another way is Q comma FP. So these are different ways to say implication. Okay. And let us take some examples. Let's take some more examples to understand the connectives. Now suppose we, please recollect P implies Q when it is true and false. So P implies Q is false only when the first preposition is true and the second preposition is false. Am I right? So implies is false only when first preposition is true, second one is false. Remaining all the cases it is true. Okay, so I already told a true statement should not imply a false statement. Okay, now let us take some examples. So yeah, now so see here, if 2 plus 2 equal to 5, then 4 equal to 10. Now please understand here what are the prepositions and what is the connective involved. So just now we discussed if then means the connective that is involved is implication. If then means the connective that is involved is implication. Fine. And what are the two prepositions? The first one is 2 plus 2 equal to 5 is first preposition. The second one is 4 equal to 10, the second preposition. Now let us see what are the truth values individually, and then finally what is truth value of the complete sentence. Now 2 plus 2 equal to 5, we know that this is false. Am I right? Then 4 equal to 10 is also false. So false implies false is true. So please refer the table of the implication. False, false, false. In that case, it is true. So in which case it is false? Only the first one is true. Second one is false. Only in that case it is false. Remaining all the cases it is true. Now let us take another example. That is interesting example here. Take this. If Rani is beautiful, then sun rises in the east. Now, how I decide truth value of this kind of statements? So here, basically, we don't know who is Rani, and we don't know whether Rani is beautiful or not. Okay, am I right? So, how I decide the truth values? Okay. Now, these are little tricky statements. Okay. Now, anyhow, to decide the truth value of the statement, now forget about time being. Of course, Rani is beautiful. Since we don't know about Rani, we keep that aside. But at least take the second preposition. Sun rises in the east. So sun rises in the east is true. Am I right? So sun rises in the east is true. And the first preposition may be true or first preposition may be false. Rani is beautiful may be true. Rani is beautiful may be false. But irrespective of the first preposition, it could be true or false. The complete statement is true. Why tell me? Suppose if Rani is beautiful is true, then this implies true implies true. True implies true is true. Suppose let us say Rani is not beautiful, then it is false implies true. In that case also it is true. Okay. So if you see the implication, P implies Q. So please, this is very important part. So when I say P implies Q, when I talk about P implies Q, so if Q, as long as Q is true, as long as Q is true, then I need not bother about the truth value of the P. Am I right? As long as the statement Q is true, irrespective of the truth value of the P implies Q is always true. Okay. And one more important point. In P implies Q, as long as P is false, as long as P is false, irrespective of the truth value of the Q, that is always true. If P is false, irrespective of the truth value of the Q, P implies Q is always true. Why? Because if P is false, then the Q could be false or true. In that case, the different cases are false, 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 true. In these two cases, implication is true. So the implication is a little tricky. You should understand these two cases. If Q is true, then don't bother about the P. It is always true. And second case is if P is false, then don't bother about the Q. It is always true. Okay. So this is all about implication. And similarly, let us see some examples. One example of by implication. And by implication, please recollect the truth table. By implication, when it is true and it is false. So by implication, basically the word is very clear. P by implies Q means it is P implies Q as well as Q implies P. It is both. So therefore, the by implication is true when both the prepositions have the same truth value. That means in the true case it is true, and the false case is also true. Remaining two cases it is false. That means in the TF case and FT case, true false case and false true case, it is false. Okay. Now let us take one simple example. 2 plus 2 equal to 9. if and only if. Okay, now please make a note. This by implication we can also call as by conditional. We can call it as a by implies and implies and implied by, and sometimes we can also call as P if Q, P if Q, IWF. Okay, so therefore, so there are different forms I have shown here. Now let's we take this example: 2 plus 2 equal to 9. If means here it is if and only if sunrise in the east. Okay. Now what is the truth value of this? How I decide? Now see this. In this, the first proposition is 2 plus 2 equal to 9. This is false. And the second one is of course true. And we know that by implies is false in the FT case as well as the TF case. It is true only when TT case and FF case. Okay. So therefore this is false. So okay. So this is how we evaluate the truth value of the statements when the connectives are. If it is single preposition, we know, okay, we have to see the statement and we have to decide is true or false. But if there are two prepositions connected with a connective, so how I evaluate? So I evaluate the truth value of the complete sentence based on the truth table of that particular connective. Okay, so these are all about different connectives and how they work, when there are more than two prepositions are there. Okay, so next class we see, we'll discuss about how to construct the truth tables and other details. Thank you.